Hey everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about GPS device tracking in Home Assistant. What GPS device tracking will allow us to do is send GPS coordinate data from our mobile devices into Home Assistant for processing. With this information, Home Assistant can not only tell whether we're home or not home, but it'll be able to tell exactly where we are, and that can be super useful for some various automations that we're going to be talking about in a bit. But to get started with this, the first thing we need to do is download an application called GPSLogger from your phone's app store. I've already downloaded my copy, so here it is here. Once you've got GPSLogger downloaded, we're going to want to go over to our Home Assistant instance and go to the Configuration tab. In the Configuration tab, we're going to click Integrations, and we're going to scroll down to the GPSLogger webhook. In here, we're going to click Configure, Submit. And then the configuration page presents us with some information. First of all, it gives us a URL, which we'll copy and put to the side. So I recommend pasting this into a text editor of your choice so that you don't lose it. This is the URL that the GPSLogger app is going to use to send data points to Home Assistant. The other piece of information that that dialog box gave us was the HTTP method, which it was specifying post as the way that it wants GPSLogger to reach out to the webhook. So we'll move over to our GPSLogger application, and we're going to open up logging details. Inside of logging details, we're going to select log to custom URL. This is where we're going to paste our URL that Home Assistant provided us. So I will just paste that in there, say OK. And I'm going to go to the HTTP method, which is the other information that Home Assistant gave us, and we're going to say post, all caps. So at this point, I'd recommend bringing up the Home Assistant wiki page on GPSLogger to help us with the rest of our configuration. And you can find that at www.homeassistant.io/components/GPSLogger. So we're going to skip past the part we already did, and we're going to start getting the information we need for the rest of the configuration. The first part we're going to configure is the HTTP body segment of this. And we're going to grab this from the Home Assistant wiki right here. And this is basically all the information that the application is sending to Home Assistant. You can ignore some of these error messages that are coming up while we're filling this out. This is the result of the GPSLogger app trying to publish information to Home Assistant without being completely filled out. So we're in the process of filling that out now, so we'll get that resolved soon. So we'll copy this, paste that in, and say OK to that. And then the last part is the HTTP headers. So we'll grab that from the wiki as well in the HTTP header section, and we'll post that there. Okay, so if that's done, we should stop seeing those error messages. In fact, we might even see some messages that say success, depending on how long you stay on that screen for. But this is continuously posting now. So let's have a look at what Home Assistant is seeing. Now, if we've done this right, we should see some devices being populated in known devices.yaml. And we do. So there's my phone serial. We can see here that it's preset some of the parameters for us here. If you want to change any of these, you can. You can add an icon. You can add the MAC address of your phone. I would recommend just staying with the device ID because that's what GPSLogger is going to be sending it. We have track set to true. What I am going to change here, though, is my device tracker's name is going to be Brad's phone. Actually, we'll just call it Brad, because then it'll track as me. So save this and restart Home Assistant. Now the only reason I'm restarting Home Assistant is because I did change the device name from that device serial to Brad. If we didn't want to change the device name, you probably don't even need to restart. So I will come back here and I'll say states, and we'll say Brad. Okay, so now I have an entity called Brad, and we can see that it's determining that Brad is home. And inside this, we have all my location data. We've got the GPS accuracy. We've got my phone's battery, and we've got my altitude. So all that information that's getting passed from GPSLogger is successfully making it into Home Assistant. And the way that Home Assistant is determining whether or not I'm home is in the top of my configuration.yaml, I've defined latitude and longitude and elevation of my, quote unquote home. So I've included this in a secret file, not that it matters because it's all been published down here. But anyway, that's how it's actually determining the state. Now you can also set it up for Home Assistant to recognize other places, not just your home, and that's called zones. So I'm actually going to do another video specifically about zones. Stay tuned for that. But for now, we've got the GPSLogger app successfully posting messages into Home Assistant, and Home Assistant parsing those messages and figuring out whether or not we're home. So this is a good place to stop. I'll leave it here for now, so stay tuned. I'm going to be doing another video regarding zones and about parsing out some of the other cool information that the GPSLogger app gives us, like the battery percentage and things like that. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.